Hey there, it's Angie with Love and Glitter Designs, and today we're making a wall basket for spring that you can hang on any wall or door. And first I'm starting with a piece of gaps and cracks foam that I'm going to cover in a piece of sheet moss to kind of cover up the white so you don't see it through the basket weave. So I'm only adding the sheet moss to the front since you're not really going to be able to see the back once it's hanging. But I am adding some moss around the top just to kind of cover as much of the foam as possible. Now our basket is ready. And this is the Spanish moss I like to use, especially for spring since it's got a nice deep green color. So I'm starting with this hanging greenery that I got at Michael's. It's really lush and I love the way it hangs down. So we're going to start with this, and I just start sticking it in the middle. So that way it flows over the top of the basket and then down the side. So once I pop it in, then I'll add some hot glue around it to keep it firmly in place. You don't want to really add glue to the bottom of this because when you stick it into the foam, it melts the glue around it the foam around it, and it may tend to loosen and move a little bit. So instead of using so much glue on the inside of it and then around the top, I just add it to the top. It's plenty. It's not going anywhere. Since the stem on this greenery bush is really thick, I went ahead and added a little bit extra glue at the top. So this is the first bunch of flowers that we're using, and it's a really pretty spring wildflower bunch. And what I'm doing now is pushing the florals up to the top of the stem. Okay, so now after I've done that, instead of cutting each stem individually, I'm just going to stick the whole bunch into the foam because it's just perfect the way it is. And we're just going to stick it in and separate all the stems apart so everything is spread out and you can see all the different colors of the florals throughout the whole arrangement. So small little arrangements like this are a good way to use up any leftover stems that you may have. This is a really nice greenery that's one of my favorites, and I believe it was from Jam Designs and Supplies, and it's one of my really favorite ones to use. That the colors that are so vibrant and it really brightens up the dark green that's already in there. And I only had 3 stems left, so I was going to use it somewhere. And this is perfect because it's not enough to go on a wreath. So a centerpiece or a wall basket like this is a perfect way to use up any leftover supplies you may have. Okay, so now I'm adding in some, I believe this was some lavender that I got from Walmart. And don't pass on Walmart because sometimes it's hit or miss actually, but sometimes you can find some really great florals there. You just have to look. And when you find them and you like them, get all that you want or that you can get because they probably won't have them again, which happens a lot to me because I have not seen this specific lavender in my Walmart that's local to me in a really long time. And it is really nice. The purple is really bright. It's not that really light lavender that they usually have. I like the darker purple like this, and it matches the florals that are already in there perfectly. So if you notice, a lot of times when I cut up a bush, I like to spread them out to see how many I have, and also to see if there's any that are bigger than the other, so that way I can decide where I want to place them, where I want to stick them in at. So Yeah, so I have them spread out and then I decide which one's going to go where. So that's kind of my method to my madness whenever I'm creating. What I'm doing now is just placing them into the arrangement where they're evenly spaced and bring in that pop of color where it's needed. Like you don't want to have too much purple on one side or too much of another color on the other side. You just want to look for balance. So that's what I'm doing now. Now I'm adding in some of this fun bright yellow, and all I know is it came from Michael's. I don't know what it's called or anything like that. And again, I'm just going to cut them all up so I can spread them out throughout the arrangement. And sometimes I keep the leaves that come with the stems, and sometimes I take them off if they look kind of ratty or they don't really match. And with this bunch, I kept some and threw some of it away. But anyway, so that's what we're doing now. And if you know what these are called, let me know because I have no idea. So here's a reminder to slow down and pay attention to where you put your glue at before you go to grab your stem. Because if you do and burn yourself, I like to keep this little bottle of burn gel on hand. And yes, I do use it a lot. If not, if you have some ice water or cold water bottle, that helps too. I'm adding a few more flowers with this light green and pink filler bush, which is also from Jam Designs and Supplies. Okay, so she's pretty full now, but I'm going to go ahead and add in some more stems for height and some more wispiness. And this is another bush that I also picked up at Michael's. So now that we're done filling the basket with florals and greenery, we can move on to making a bow. Since there's so much already going on in the basket, I'm keeping my ribbon choices simple, using this black and white farmhouse from Sam's and this two-sided green and blue from Fair Silk, and this pink kind of rag bow ribbon just to add a little pop of pink in there. Just really simple. I wanted to use this pink ribbon in my bow because I love the flowiness of it. When I think of wildflowers in a field, I see them swaying in the breeze, so I didn't really want a perfectly stiff bow for this design. I love a good two-sided ribbon because you get so much more bang for your buck. And I have had this striped ribbon for at least a couple of years. I'm recycling a floral pick to attach my bow. Since I don't really measure, I'm just holding my ribbon up to the basket to determine how long I want my tails and loops to be. I think it's better to get a perspective of how your bow is going to look on a design than to just make all your bows the same size, because I just don't think bows are one size fits all kind of thing. Even though this Sam's ribbon is not wired, it does a really great job of holding its shape. Now that I like the base of my bow, I'm only adding a strip of the pink ribbon just to add some flowy tails. At this point, I'm not sure that I'm loving the pink ribbon so far because it's really flimsy, but I'm just going to go with it for now. I can always pull it off if I don't like it. And the finishing touch is a two-sided fair silk ribbon. I really don't think the colors read well on camera because it is just so vibrant and it really ties in with the wildflowers. It is just really nice, and the wire in this is really great. And I like to twist the skinny ribbons like this, twist them into a spiral. Whoops. There we go. I'm just curling my two-sided ribbon tails so that both sides of the ribbon are This was a really fun design to create. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.